Why did it freeze up? There we go. What is going on, everybody? This is the Pitchlight Chronicles. Unfortunately, we are not coming here in a happy mood. Yamamoto has signed with the Dodgers. It sucks. This really just sucks. It was coming out that it was going to be one of those, 9 years, $326 million. The box score put it out on their Facebook page. And I'm getting that message. Jason was on live. Pete was on live. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. And it just came out that they didn't pick us. We were stuck at the altar again.
I was watching Pete's stream when it broke actually towards the end of his stream.
Yep. And what's going on, Jacob? Thanks for jumping in with us real quick. We're just going to go around. We're just going to vent a little bit. We'll pass it to the birthday boy, Donald.
Happy freaking birthday, right? I'm actually hurt right now. Like, I'm in pain. Like, this is horrible news. And the reason why it sucks so bad is because the Yankees wanted him so bad. If the Yankees didn't want him half as much as they did, then this wouldn't hurt nearly as much as it does. But the Yankees wanted him bad. So bad. The Yankees were in on every one of his starts. They were checking in on him all year. They went to his no-hitter. They bid over $300 million for him. The guy is a Yankee fan wearing Yankee hats. And we still lost out to the Dodgers. Even though they just spent $1.1 billion on talent. You know what it shows to me is that the landscape of baseball is now completely changed, because this doesn't happen to the Yankees. The Yankees never lose out on a guy that they desperately want. They usually find a way of getting it done. This is one of the first times that I've seen us lose, and it hurts.
It's got that the king is dead kind of feel.
Yeah, it's like it hurts to see us lose out on a bidding. You know, I mean, obviously we've seen us lose a lot in terms of on the field, but in terms of talent, we very rarely A, get bid, or B, outmaneuvered. I mean, I have thoughts. I think that Yamamoto is soft. I think he's as soft as melted butter for going to the obvious, being obviously behind Ohtani now in the pecking order. He could easily have made a new legacy for himself in New York, where it really matters. I don't understand the decision. I mean, the Dodgers, yes, they're second to the Yankees in terms of prestige and fan base and stuff, but really, people in LA don't really care as much as they do in New York and the East Coast. You know what I mean? It's a completely different thing. Like, we live and breathe baseball. They don't do that in LA. We live and breathe baseball. LA, they got a million different things they can do. They can surf. They can sunbathe. Here, we got baseball. You know what I mean? And so I think he's made a terrible choice. I think he's soft for this decision. I don't necessarily blame the Yankees for losing out, because they bid over $300 million, so I can't blame them. It's not like they did they maybe got outclassed or anything like that. They didn't. They bid $300 million. He turned us down for that. Screw him for that. But I think the Dodgers are are taking advantage now of the situation. I guess good on them, but it's not freaking nice, and I don't think it's good. Don't think it's good for the sport. It's not nice to stomach. I think they're a bit of a joke franchise now. And Ohtani's soft as melted butter, and I really don't know where the Yankees are going to pivot to. There's a bunch of names. Yeah, Montgomery, but none of them are
No, there's
or
no there's
Yamamoto.
no caliber pitcher like
No,
Yamamoto
no
left
one's
on the board.
Yamamoto, man. None of them's Yamamoto, and no one. We don't want anyone as much as we wanted Yamamoto. We wanted him so bad. That's why it hurts so bad. This is horrible news. Horrible news.
Yeah.
So
Chris, go ahead.
how are how are we feeling about a alternative of going to Imanaga though?
Yeah, no, there's still options out there, and
Yeah.
over the next few days on the shows, we're going to be going through them. But I just the Yamamoto thing. I just we got to vent about it a little bit. Is if it was me, I would call him up, and I'd be like, I want that Matsui jersey back. You can't have that.
Actually,
now.
it was a number 18 jersey that they gave him.
No, but Matsui signed it. I think that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. But I would take the
Yeah.
jersey back. You know what? Screw you now.
Yeah.
Like they say on the Shark Tank. I forget it. I forget the guy's name. You're dead to me, right? No, the guy.
Mr.
Kevin.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful. You're dead to me now. But Chris, what do you think? How you feeling?
I'm naturally pissed off. I'm pissed off. But as I'm sitting here and I was listening to Donald talk, and I couldn't agree with him more about everything he said. But I think back on the year of what 2023 looked like on the Yankee landscape. And I feel like, in a sense, the disaster that was the 2023 season is not a good look for the Yankees. I mean, on the one hand, you have the vaunted Yankee history with all of its amazing, background to give a person stature and to give them Hall of Fame dreams. But on the other hand, the reality is the Yankee franchise right now is in disarray. It's obvious that they weren't able to pull it together enough to convince Yamamoto to come here. But I kind of get it. The team is not trending up. I mean, Soto is here now, yes. Cole, Judge, but last year was a disaster, and they've said it themselves. So I think that there's some image rehabbing to be done for the Yankees.
That's a great point, Chris. I never even thought about that angle. There's a very good chance that maybe he looked at that and went, well, the Yankees finished 82 and 80, fourth place team, while the Dodgers are perennially winning their division all the time. He probably thought, well, you know what? Now they've added Ohtani and spent $1 billion, freaking assholes. They're pretty much going to be right there. So he jumped on the bandwagon. He jumped on a super team.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a very good point because the Yankees are in disarray. That's an excellent point.
Well, Rob, give us your opinions on it.
I'm not that mad, to be perfectly honest with you. The Yankees didn't want to go to 12 years. I understand it. 12 years for a pitcher's a lot, especially for a guy that has never pitched in the major leagues. So I said it 2 weeks ago on the show. Or a week ago, if that's the case, if they put their look, they offered him 10 years, $300 million. That's $30 million a year. That's a lot of fucking money for a guy who's never pitched in Major League Baseball. So you can't say the Yankees didn't at least give it their best attempt. They went all out. They did everything they could. And the Dodgers said, hey, we'll give you 2 more years. We'll give you some extra money. And whichever team he went to, he was going to have a really good chance to win. And the fact that it was between us and the Dodgers when the Mets had the same offer is interesting to me. It means he did want to be a Yankee, but he also wanted to be a Dodger too. So he took the better offer for him. He gets more money. He gets 2 more years. He gets to play with Ohtani. So I don't blame him. I don't blame the Yankees. Would I like him on this team? Absolutely. I wanted him all off season, but to me, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. We can use our prospects. We have several prospects. We can go try to get a Dylan Cease. Maybe we even sign Imanaga to fill the back end of the rotation, and that would cost you less than $30 million to get those 2 guys. So the Yankees have options, like we said already. There's options out there. They can still make this team really good. You've already had a good offseason. You've addressed 2 major needs, and there's still several several guys you can go out there and get to make this rotation better. So am I upset? Sure, because we all wanted this guy. But am I defeated? And I'm not defeated. I think this offseason has gone well so far. The Yankees were all in on the best pitcher. And look, okay, LI, but I'm saying is they went all out to try to get this guy. That's all we could have asked for. It's not like it said the Dodgers
it's not the
offered
fault of the Yankees.
325. Hold on. No. Hold on. If it came out that the Yankees were at like 250, which is almost 100 million less, then you're like, all right, well, they weren't really all that serious. But even that's a big number for, again, a guy has not pitched here before. Yeah. And I said it all offseason. I don't care that he hasn't pitched here, but the money is crazy. They did. I'm not arguing with this. It's too late for your shit, LA. I'm not doing this with you tonight. No. Anyway, they went all out for him. $30 million a year for a dude who's never pitched in Major League Baseball is a lot of money. However, there are options out there. Let's go get somebody. I don't know. Dylan Cease would be my top choice. I don't think it would take too many pitchers to get him. Maybe you go try to get Burns. Imanaga's out there. Do they reunite with Montgomery? I don't know about that, but there are options out there. We still got Juan Soto. We've attacked our biggest need, which was the offense. Now we can go get another pitcher, maybe even two, and you could put together a super bullpen, and it will still cost you less than $30 million per year. So the Yankees got options. It's not even Christmas yet. I would love Yamamoto, but let's just see what they can do. Now is a real test for Cashman. Now you got to go be creative. Go be creative.
Yep.
Lynn, your turn.
Well, Rob, really great job trying to equalize. I'm gonna amp it right back up, because once again, here we are. Charlie Brown and Lucy has taken the football out from under us.
I like that one.
And if I had a dollar for every time I have said manage expectations on Twitter, on shows, because this is what happens when we start to expect and believe. And look at us. I'm already thinking I got to send apology notes to whoever I'm meeting on my 8:30 call in the morning, because it's not going to be pretty. And to Chris's point, we have to stop with the bravado about being the evil empire, being the premier baseball team that anyone in the DR and Japan would want to come grow up dreaming to play, and will do it at all costs. Because here we are. My only consolation is that Steve Cohen obviously went mute. And had, after all of the drama we had last weekend, where the frig was he in all of this? So I don't see any reports about him bidding in on anything, and it coming down to just this. And yeah, for a change, I have nothing to blame Hal and Brian about. And the Dodgers, Penny, it's just, you got money to burn. You're gonna burn it, and you're gonna get burned, because Otani. Yes.
You want to know where Steve Cohen really went? He adopted an Oriental kind of tone of voice, if you will, and he basically just dropped the mic like this. Then he went, emotional damage.
I'm kind of glad the Mets didn't get him.
We don't say Oriental anymore, but anyway, Asian.
Yeah, well,
they offered the same amount though. That's what's crazy. They offered the same exact contract as the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But he still wanted the Dodgers or Yankees.
It just sucks. And I think I'm more Monty forward than anyone that's spoken so far. To me, call 1-800-Flowers, flood his house with friggin' flowers, whatever it takes, and get him back.
I agree. I'd bring Montgomery back.
Known entity. We know what we're getting. We know what we saw this past season. He has a ring on his hand. We all should be kissing it. Bring it back. And to Rob's point, with plenty of change to spare, get us that super bullpen closer and get us a deeper bench for the rotation. And yeah, I'd be fine with Cease, but I have a Monty t-shirt. I want to wear it again. Get Monty back.
No, I agree with you. I'd bring Montgomery back. The other options, it's not so. There's one thing I want to pick up on what Rob's point was about. Well, we can just make a trade, but we've given up significant pitching assets to get Soto. can we afford to give up more pitching assets when we're kind of slow on the verge of being depleted in that degree? So that would make me wonder: are we going to trade Gleyber Torres to maybe the Marlins? I don't know how we're going to do this now. It made things more complicated for sure, and I'm definitely quite concerned. But I would certainly go for the Montgomery route, and I don't want anything to do with Imanata. I don't want Imanaga at all. I don't want a back end starter. No, absolutely not. I get Kayagawa vibes from that. It would be like it just reminds me too much of like Kayagawa, that when Cashman panicked and brought in Kayagawa and it blew up in his face. I don't want a back end starter. Like,
well, Kayagawa in the year before we got him in 06 in Japan was something like 14-9 and a 2.97 ERA Japanese ball. And of course, it propelled to so much more worse when he came here in 06 and 07. And a lot of what you said, Lynn, basically propels to the point I want to make here. We've had a balanced rotation typically in the years we've won chips. 96, we had 3 lefties. Okay, actually 2.5. I'm counting Rogers as the half. The other 2 are really Jimmy Key and Andy Pettit. Look at 98, Wells and Pettit. Look at 99, we had only 1 lefty. That was really the operation over there. Then if you look at the 2000 team, we traded the season for that starter from Pittsburgh. The name escapes me right now, but again, the point being balanced rotations. Now, reunite with Monty. Yeah, reunite with Monty, like I've been saying. Do we have enough prospects to, like we've been discussing, Tats, we've been discussing on Pinstripes After Dark about this as well. Go out and get a Bieber and a Clase trade that fills your closer and another need in your starting rotation. You put a prospect package together and go out and get Bieber and Clase. As it is, the Guardians are on a rebuild and a remake of their team as it is. So that helps you right there get another decent starter. Bieber is somebody I would consider maybe a 2 or 3 right behind Cole. And possibly now, unfortunately, we have to go back to Rodon unless Monty somehow fills in for a number 2, which I think he can, with a rejuvenated offense, a better offense than what he's subjected to in his previous tenure when he was here.
Don't shut Nestor out.
No, it's the reason that Sunil and I were talking a lot about Cleveland last week is they're not looking for a lot of pitching.
Yeah.
So that's where you could use some of your infield, outfield prospects to get some pitching back. And that would not tonight, David. Well, you and I we'll talk. We're gonna get you involved somehow. There are teams that they can pivot to where we're not going to have to use a lot of our pitching, any more of our pitching depth than we already have. There are ways to get a little creative. The Yankees, the front office, as much as we're a little annoyed at them, but we're not, because it wasn't like they didn't put the effort in. They did their homework. They were involved before any other team. They were the ones that made sure that they had a representative at every start. Cashman was there for the no-hitter.
That's why it hurts this much.
But and the frustrations are going to come in.
It doesn't make it any easier. In fact, it makes it worse. The fact that we wanted him this badly. We wanted him more than the Dodgers wanted him.
Yeah,
let's be facing, because we did it all year long.
The Dodgers.
He let us on. My father should.
I got 2.
Good.
I got 2 points, which basically I'm going to certify how this doesn't make sense. If this was exactly the same revenue and the same spread out, maybe a couple of years difference here or there, if you will. Number one, the cost of living in LA and in California in general over New York is significantly higher. Good luck paying your taxes. Hope you got a good attorney at H&R, a good tax accountant at H&R Block or wherever it is you decide to go. Good luck to you. Secondly, that whole difference in money is one thing. You would have been the prized possession in a rotation that basically, yeah, I get it. It faltered in 2023, but when that rotation has a clean bill or close to a clean bill of health, it can do wonders. I mean, you've seen what Rodon has the potential to do when he was out in San Francisco for those years. Now, Rodon, I don't have too much of a level of confidence on how much of a bounce back he can be. It all revolves around his bill of health to be clean or not. But you know, we just need to be able to pivot and pivot wisely now.
We do. I'm looking at I'm thinking about this offer, right? And it's a ridiculous 12 years for a pitcher's bananas. It's completely insane. But so, like for in that regards, I'm not that like disappointed. If you know what I mean, it's like 10 years is even kind of crazy. But the fact that we offered 10, but wouldn't go to 12, like what's the difference? You're going to be screwed anyway. 10 years or 12 years, you might as well make sure you get them, right? Because what's the difference between 10 and 12? It's still, like, I know it's 2 years, but it's a wash, and Cashman won't be there in 10, 12 years. It'll be, you know what I mean? You don't know what's going to happen in 12 years' time. You might as well get it to make sure you get them now.
Yeah.
Right.
What is he now? 655 years old in Robbie age, basically?
I know. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you're going to offer 10, you might as well offer 12 to make sure you get them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let's not forget the Dodgers also gave him $50 million sign-on bonus as well.
Yeah, and there's the posting fee as well. So you're talking about $400 million plus, maybe 12 years, $400 million plus. That's a lot of money. Look, again,
it is a lot.
And if you go back and Li, I'm looking at your stuff in the chat. You are going crazy about trading Peraza. I mean, if we have to trade Peraza to get a Dylan Cease, I'm sorry, sign me up every day of the week. I love Peraza, but we have so many infielders. The White Sox don't need that much pitching. They have several top prospects, like I think 7 or 8 of their top guys are pitchers. They need hitters, and we have several of those. So I think we match up. So if you can make a move to get Cease and Crochet, guess what? Dylan Cease with Matt Blake would be a really good pairing, and I really think Rodon's going to bounce back in a better way. I'm not saying he doesn't have to be ace. I mean, it would be great if he was. He's making a lot of money, but if he's like a low 3 ERA kind of guy behind Cole, that's great. Dylan Cease can do a hell of a job with Matt Blake, and you'd strengthen your bullpen, and you can still bring in a Montas or even Montgomery. You can bring him back because the combined money for Cease and Montgomery and Crochet would probably be equal or maybe a little bit more than what Yamamoto would make. And there you go. You got a really good rotation. You got a good bullpen, and you've solved your needs in one offseason. So there are ways to make this work. It's all about the Yankees now making a quick pivot because the market's going to start moving. That's all they've been talking about. Is once Yamamoto goes, this market's going to go. Burns is probably going to get traded. A lot of people are going to start moving. So the Yankees got to be quick, and I'm hoping that they got the phones. I got the home phones working, and I want to argue with you so much right now, Li, but I'm too
Rob, I want to agree with something your dad said, actually, and that is, what if we pivot and go get Monty? But also, I mean, Trevor Bauer is just hanging around out there. I know everybody's shaking their head.
No.
Hey, Chris.
State your case.
I mean, Bauer would only cost money, and I wonder how much that would even be. And I think that he would surprise people. But anyway, I think it's an interesting point, a fair point to bring up. He's a former Cy Young. He had a solid year in Japan.
No, I'm not doing Bauer. I'm not doing the Bauer talk right now.
No, if you did Bauer every time he would take the mound, you know what my mindset would be looking like? I would have the Fox 24-hour clock going off in my head every time he's pitching. Boom, 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 boom. And one thing I want to say about, just a...
No, my thing against Bauer is his age, and he's been removed.
You've never seen 24?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's what you. I thought you said like something like 60 minutes. No, I know it's
No.
okay.
Yeah. I was talking about I was making a 24 reference because, never mind. You missed the joke entirely. You missed the joke entirely.
Yeah,
But here's a topic I wanted to throw out for the chat. Do you guys think that maybe Shane Bieber as a pitcher, if we traded for him, he could be somehow with the tutelage of Matt Blake, be worked into a younger version of a Justin Verlander, being that top-notch 1A, 1B with Cole? Think about it.
We don't have time for that. We need somebody that
No.
can step in and not need Matt Blake to that degree.
Yeah, but Shane Bieber has already got half the, the wherewithal to do that. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. It's not as big an effort as you possibly think it to be. I mean, he's
Isn't
already
Bieber coming
considered
off an
an ace
injury
for the
though?
Guard.
So
Isn't
Rob in the
Mr.
chat
Peterson like-
agrees with you, Chris.
what's going on, Ruben?
Rob in the chat agrees with you, Chris, with that comment.
Mhm.
Cashman hadn't crapped the bed in recent years. Yamamoto easily would have chose us. Yamamoto would have made the right decision choosing the more competent general manager who built a better baseball team for him to join.
Exactly.
As
That was
you
one
were
of the
saying,
points we
Chris,
made
the
when we
Yankees
were
are in
going-
disarray, and maybe it's just maybe as I was further thinking about it, maybe he did look at the previous year's records, and the Dodgers have been really good. Been going to the World Series on a fairly regular basis. They're always going to a championship game, and the Yankees haven't in a long time. Yeah, maybe he is looking at that. And I still,
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna pivot, and I'm gonna start thinking like, all right, where do we go? But right now, I want to talk about the optics. The optics of losing out on the guy that you desperately wanted, that you were jumping up and down and clapping for at a no-hitter, who you were basically smugly going around with your peacock feathers out all off-season to this point. We were. There's no doubt about that. Cashman and Boone were very smug about this, and I doubt it was about Soto. It was clearly about Yamamoto. They were clearly hearing good things about this. We were talking about for ages how we were number one through the whole frickin' process, and then the Dodgers got the money deferred with Ohtani, and that's changed the whole frickin' changed the whole game, changed the whole landscape, and then suddenly the Yankees got outmaneuvered. I just talk about the optics. It's a bad optic, and that's what I was saying. I said it before. If the Yankees lost out to Yamamoto, it's a bad optic considering how desperately we wanted him, and how smug we kind of were. We were a little smug. We were talking about how smug we were. So I'm not going to double back and then just suddenly say, it's okay. We'll get the next guy. It isn't a good look, right? And I don't, but it's not the case that I blame the front office because it was a hell of an offer. It's a bad look that we lost out on the guy, and we don't ever lose out on guys that we desperately want. No.
Sure.
In trade negotiations, yeah, we maybe don't offer the prospect that we want, whatever. But in free agency, we very rarely get outbid or lose. It's very rare. I can only think of a couple of times at the most.
Yeah.
Certainly under the George Steinbrenner years, we never ever lose.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we managed to win the Aaron Judge sweepstakes last year. This is rare, and it just shows that the landscape of baseball's changed. That the Dodgers are now ahead of the Yankees in terms of pecking order and interest, and that's freaking wild to me. I mean, hey, at least it's not the Mets, but Christ, it's just bad look because Cashman wanted him desperately, and I've never seen Cashman lose on someone he wants desperately. So whichever way you look at it, it ain't good news. It's just bad news. It's very bad news. I'll be more than happy to pivot maybe tomorrow or the next day, but right now we have to be honest with ourselves, be straight up and honest, and say the Yankees lost, and it hurts.
Yeah, but that I don't want to believe it. I can sit here all night, but I really can't. But it's believe, and we're going to dive a lot deeper into this in the morning. Because just so you guys know, we're still doing the morning show tomorrow. So, but the Yankees, like I said, it wasn't for the lack of effort, and like Ruben's comment here, I think just sums it all up in a really good way. The Yankees were confident. They offered the higher AAV. The Dodgers just extended the contract by 2 years. It sucks. It stings. It pissed us all off because we know the efforts that the Yankees put into. We know how in Donald's. We know how Cashman was walking around peacocking about everything that they've done to court him. He chose somebody else to go to the prom with. There's nothing we could do about it. That's the other frustrating part about free agency. The teams can do everything possible. It doesn't guarantee that all their efforts are going to get the guy.
Yeah,
ahead,
This
Rob.
is before
That's true.
Ohtani's contract was deferred the way it was. A lot of people are forgetting that. If Ohtani signed for $70 million a year, the Dodgers are not getting him. Once Ohtani got that ridiculous contract that paid him a fraction of what he's going to actually be making, it freed up. And that once that happened, the first thing that was put out there was the Dodgers are now a serious player for Yamamoto. I don't think the Yankees were expecting that. I don't think anyone was expecting that. So once the Dodgers became a player, they spent $1 billion and they're going to be under the luxury tax this year, under the final tax. Think about that first. That's what Ohtani's contract did for them. So they pay him $46 million and Yamamoto's getting $27. They're going to be under $290. And they spent $1 billion on 2 players. That is nuts. So they played this perfectly. And you got to wonder if maybe Ohtani and Yamamoto were kind of thinking about this the whole time. Like, if I can make this work with the Dodgers, you come join me unless you get a better offer from the Yankees. So we heard it was Yankees-Dodgers, but everyone kept saying, don't count out the Dodgers because of this Ohtani deal. They are seriously in on him. Once that happened, the Yankees were like, all of a sudden, like they weren't talking about him anymore. They went from talking about him and talking him up, and then it was kind of quiet on their front up until today when Boone was talking about him. So I think they had a feeling it was them or the Dodgers the whole time. But once the Dodgers said, we'll give you 12 and an extra $25 million, he's like, I got to take it. I mean, can you blame him? He gets 12 years. He's going to be 37 by the time the contract ends. 12 years for a pitcher is a lot. $325 million. He's got more money than Cole by $1 million in the total amount. I think it was, they said, with everything that's involved. So he's never pitched in the majors and he's getting more than the dude that just won the Cy Young. Like, that's nuts. That is nuts. Yeah. So good for him. I can't blame him. And I said that the other day, is I won't blame him if he takes the more money for a team that's probably going to go win a championship in the next few years. They could win multiple championships, but the Yankees can also be a serious contender for a championship too.
So just want to, oh, sorry, Rob.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Glenn.
We also have to remember, the Yankees were willing to throw $300 million down on the table. And okay, so then it becomes, okay, so we have that money, we're not spending and we're pivoting. But what we would have gotten Monty for yesterday is not what Monty's going to be looking for tomorrow. And the same with all the others, because the money's out there now, right? And so they're going to have to contend with that as well, is what
Good point.
And so that's going to be interesting. I don't think we have an embarrassment of wealth here in terms of the deal. The deals are not going to be easy signs. And so we're going to be in another waiting hall. And just wanted to say, mark your calendars, June 8th. Dodgers are here. We're facing Dodgers for the first time at home, June 8th.
I hope we don't panic when we pivot. I really hope we don't make a panic pivot move.
Yeah.
Like when the Yankees lost Andy Pettitte in free agency and then went and made a stupid deal for Kevin Brown. I don't want anything like that. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't want anything like that. I need them to be smart because their pride's going to be hurt and I can't blame them.
But
right?
Better be open.
As I was talking about, your peacock feathers were up and you got embarrassed. It's not a good look. Well, I wouldn't say embarrassed because the Yankees get offered. They offered $300 million, but you still lost out. And it's going to hurt considering how much they desperately wanted him. and they're going to be worried about the optics of the biggest franchise in sports losing out on someone they desperately wanted.
Yep.
Not a good look. It's a bad look. So I really hope they don't pivot and make a bad move. I hope they just take a step back, reevaluate for a couple of days, and make smart decisions, right? Be creative, and I will think about it more tomorrow, but still, very, very bad day. Very, very bad day for the franchise, just in terms of the optics.
So let's give our final thoughts before we bow out, and on how we're feeling. Or are you still? How does all right? Let's end it on this point. How has this news has it altered your opinion of the Yankees all season so far?
No, not yet.
Nope.
We still have plenty of opportunities to pivot and make smarter decisions. Now, as part of my final thoughts, I will just say that if I'm in Yamamoto's position, basically right now, what I've just done is take a walk down the history books. If you remember, before even Irabu was posted and eventually picked up by the Yankees in 95, 96, whatever it was, prior to him, the Dodgers were the ones who picked up Asian players back then. If you remember Chan Ho Park, and if you remember Hideo Nomo. So all Yamamoto basically did is basically take a walk down memory lane from the early 90s and basically stay closer to home, which is kind of fitting along the same line that Otani basically said he wanted to do. But and the difference in 2018 is Otani blatantly came out and said, "No, I'm not interested in coming out east. I want to basically go to a different, team where I can be the lone standout Japanese player or whatever." Now he's no longer that with the Dodgers, but it is what it is. But coming back to what Yamamoto's basically, he more or less mimicked what Hideo Nomo basically did in that early '90s time frame when he first came to the bigs.
Yeah. Rob, what's so funny?
The FBI's in the chat. That's
Okay.
funny. This news is so shocking. The FBI showed up. So, look, I'll just go now with my final thought.
Yeah.
I'll just echo. I just saw Pete's latest tweet. Definitely a gut punch to our offseason, but Hal and Cashman need to go do what it takes to stack this club. Go get it. I think we still had. Look, we still got Juan Soto. We can't forget, even if now you have money to go extend him. Now go blow him out of the water with a huge extension offer. Go get him for the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have chances. Like we just mentioned, the whole show, Sunil just said it. There's opportunities out there to go get good pitchers. Will they be as good as Yamamoto's potential? No, I don't think anyone has the potential that Yamamoto has, but we also don't know. Maybe he's an absolute bust. I don't think I think he's going to be fantastic, but you never know yet. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So now let's go get a Dylan Cease. Let's go get a Corbin Burns, somebody. Maybe you make a trade with Miami for Luzardo, right? Somebody brought that up in the chat earlier. There's so many pitchers available in the trade market right now. And yeah, the Yankees are going to have to pick the right trade partner. I think we match up really well with Chicago, looking more at their prospect list. They can use more infielders and outfielders in that system more than they can use arms. So we might be able to survive a trade with them and not have to give up too many pitchers, which helps our case. We can get a pitcher, a starter, and a reliever, and you can still go and sign Montas for the cheap. Or like I said earlier, bring back Montgomery and still cost you less than Yamamoto would. Would it be the sexy, fancy move, getting Cease and Montgomery over Yamamoto? No, because that wouldn't be the evil empire type of move, but to make your team better? Yes. And let's not forget who's going to be hitting either in front of or behind Aaron Judge in this lineup this season. That's Juan fucking Soto. So this is still a very good offseason, and it has a chance to still be very good. Am I hurt about losing Yamamoto? Yes. Is it the end of the world to me though? No. Let's just continue to do. Hopefully they continue to operate this way the rest of the way through till the spring and continue to make this team better.
Lynn?
They, Brian and Hal better not go back to their old lazy ways. If they're not on the phone at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm talking not even our time, which means they should be on the phone now, and doing what they got to do, then I'm going to be more pissed than I am now. Those purse strings got to stay open. They had that money in their hands today, and they better spend it on the quick. Because it came down to us and the Dodgers, but the Mets, the Jays, the Cubs, all the others that were circling around with interest in this Yama deal, they're going to be doing the very same thing. So we better rush to the top of the pack and get the ones we want and get them within the next couple of weeks.
Chris, what's your grade?
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Lynn just said and with everyone in the chat. But the optics are bad right now. Moving forward, it's going to be important to somehow for the Yankees to capture something of the spirit of the organization and to be able to bring that to fans again. It seems like right now the fans are disgruntled with the before Yamamoto was on the Yamamoto thing was on our radar, we were all pissed off with Cashman and the organization and the season they had and what they've been bringing us and the teams they've been putting together. And now we have, we were hoping this was going to reclaim some of our dignity, some of our allure, but there's work to be done. I hope the Yankees are smart going forward and doing it. What they do next is going to definitely define who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say they went from maybe an A to an A minus, but you're talking about, it was brought up in the chat. I don't remember, and I apologize for putting it out there. If we would have went to 12, they were going to have gone to 14 or 15. Like the Dodgers were going to keep out overbidding on him because of the way that they were able to structure the Ohtani deal.
Right.
Once we saw that contract, that's when it started to be, all right, the Dodgers are not out of it. We all thought it was going to be between the Yankees and the Mets. The Ohtani contract changed the whole landscape of the negotiation. And there's nothing the Yankees can do about it.
Nope.
Like I said, when you try to court a free agent, it's ultimately where they decide to go, as long as the Yankees did what I don't think they made one misstep. That's why I'm not mad at the Yankees. It's frustrating, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's done. It's over with. Like we were saying the other day on the morning show, now that Yamamoto's off the board, the floodgates are going to open up. Now you're going to start seeing some action again. Before the holiday, I do expect there to be a nice wave of signings and trades, because now everybody can go back to business because they're not worried about where the money's going to be going. But the other thing, I'll close it with this. Now the Yankees have no excuse with the finances on why they can't extend Soto. Now there's no excuse.
They never did have an excuse.
No, but it's just cemented even more. You put another layer of cement on it, because it's not like now they're paying another $300 million contract. Now you can get aggressive on the Soto negotiation. But we could definitely dive into that a lot more in the morning. But we are going to wrap things up. Everybody.
Wait a minute. That's my final thoughts.
I thought you went first. Go ahead, Donald.
No, you didn't ask me. My final thoughts are that Soto was my priority. It was my number one priority all along, because offense was the thing that was broken. We needed protection for Aaron Judge. We needed a lefty bat. We needed power. We needed another star. We got that. that was my number one priority, right? I did view Yamamoto as kind of a luxury in terms of the fact that we've already got an ace of the staff, right? And we paid Rodon to be our 1B, right? I can't forget about the fact that Rodon is due to come back and surely be better than he was last year because it was terrible. So, I mean, if you're looking at it purely on that basis, it's not going to affect how I view the offseason to this point. And there's a ton of options now. So Soto is my priority. That's not going to change, so it's not going to hinder my grade that much. It's still wait and see. I need to see a closer added, and I need to see another quality starter added minimum. But it's still been a decent offseason. We got Soto. That was my number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not overly blaming Cashman because he put together a hell of an offer, man. $300 million. If you turn that down, then you didn't want to be a Yankee. So I'm not going to blame the front office for it. All I'm going to say is the reason why I'm hurt this much is because I've never seen the Yankees lose a negotiation that they desperately wanted to win. That is what scares me because that's probably never happened before. I can't really think of a time that that's happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, have you guys known a time where Cashman desperately wanted a free agent and did everything possible to get him and not get him? You know? So that's what kind of scares me a little bit. But we'll pivot. There will always pivot, and the Yankees will always be the Yankees. That's never going to change. So we'll keep it here, and we'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, not great, but still, Soto is my number one priority. I'm glad we got him.
But if you change your context slightly from free agency to the trade deadline, I can give you one example where Cashman tried to get somebody and failed. That would be 2010 Cliff Lee.
Which was his own fault because he didn't want to give up Eduardo Nunez or Ivan Nova.
True. But again, that's the common denominator. He tried, but he failed because of some, a pitfall that he wasn't willing to part with.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to with the trades, that's one thing. But when Donald's referring to strictly with free agents.
Sure.
So,
right.
Oh yeah, he's right though. He's right because that hasn't really happened. But again, you got to take in all the factors here. Back when the Yankees wanted somebody, they didn't have the Dodgers who had this kind of open
manipulation.
This is, they like look. It's not against the rules, but they absolutely manipulated the system here because $68 million is deferred every year from Ohtani. They were able to give him a signing bonus of $50 million. That all this stuff plays into effect. The $50 million signing bonus, the $25 million extra, the 2 more years. This guy, we don't know. He could break down in 7 years or 5 years. We don't know. I hope he doesn't. I hope he has an outstanding career. I think he's going to be really good. But we don't know. In 12 years, the risk. That's a big risk. So good on him.
If he struggles to start his career, we're all going to be going, oh, thank God we dodged that bullet. You got to see it play out. But
exactly.
But that is going to wrap things up for us. For everybody that was hanging out, we appreciate you hanging out with us so late. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the sub button, share this with your friends, your neighbors, stranger on the corner. And as I always say, wait till Pinstripes for pride and play hard.
Close to 500.